Assalamualaikum. And today we go for chapter 6 on formulating the research design in the syllabus set as a research design. So besides formulating, we also will berkenalan with the hypothesis, okay, theoretical framework. So actually I combine with from Sekarang's book, okay, as Sekarang's book, and as well as the John Willis on second part. Okay, so Sekarang's book is a very they're based on Saunders. Saunders sekarang after this. Okay, so from Saunders, okay, so the research onions, okay, so this is as a secara holistic. Okay, secara holistic dia, what's the research design? This is based on the Saunders et al. Okay, and then nanti I follow with sekarang et al. Okay, sekarang okay, we books and this one Saunders from. So we in these slides, in this chapter, we added two authors lah, two resources, reputable one. So if you see from Saunders punya book here, you can nampak dia punya gist dia tu, macam inti dia, the most important you can see data collection there. They have the this one is a techniques, okay, the data collection techniques. Kita tengok yang tu je. And then this one is the time horizon, cross-sectional longitudinal. Don't worry, kita tak akan tengok this one too much or too details. Just now, I want to introduce for you the punya apa kupasan, dia punya layer by layer tu, alright. And then the strategy. Okay, so actually for our course ni kita lebih kepada you are applying more on survey. Okay, besides that they have case study, ethnography, grounded. This one more qualitative lah. Okay, grounded theory, ethnography, case study can be quantity and qualitative. So you can combine on survey and case study as well. Then there's a strategy. Then this one is more on methodological choices. Okay, we will go to this one after this. And then the approach. Okay, approach to theory development. Okay, this also we will go after this. Induction ke, abduction ke. Alright, this got apps apa? Dia agak quite abstractive lah. Okay, then the one is philosophy. Yang in the chapter 1 kita dah berkenalan sedikit, little bit on philosophy. Okay, ada positivism, critical realism, interpretivism. Okay, so that is all this stage by stage, layer by layer, or in other way we can consider as onion. Okay, kita tengok awak bawang kan, onion they have layer by layer kan. Lalu kita ke buang kulit, then actually they have a layer inside the onion. So that's why they take from that name lah, research onion ataupun research stages lah. Okay, so dia punya the things, the most important, the techniques and the procedures. So for you all pun nanti after this you have for your group assignments, they're more on your techniques and procedures in to completing your research, insyaAllah. Okay, jadi is the things that maybe you feel you never heard. Some of the terms is quite rare or new for you. Don't worry, this is always new. Okay, this one, methodological choices. So you can choose. Okay, so for this course, maybe you more on quantitative study. Okay, it could be, okay, dia ada mono method, mana dia single. Either you akan fokus quantitative only or qualitative only. However, if you feel mixed, some in a field of study they call as a mix or multiple methods. Okay, this one, mixed method or multi method. Okay, so mix. Apa is a multiple and mix? Kita tengok after this. What is a multiple? Siapa who wants to know, you can check. Macam what the difference between multiple or multi? Okay, macam booster and penggalak. Right, jadi For multi, we do have multi-method. You can see here, okay, ini this one is from here. Yang ni, this one, this line comes from multi-methods, not under qualitative. Dia mungkin dia not enough. Every space tu dia tak muat kan. So this one mixed method, you can have simple mixed method or complicated mixed method. So multi ni kalau if I'm not mistaken dia macam kita tengok after this, dia ada lapisan demi lapisan. Mix ni mungkin dia mix in between the method tu sendiri dalam procedure tu, dalam collect data, okay, the data collection or strategy. So multi ni dia macam kuih lapis yang tak bercampur, dia tak blended, right? Dia step by step. Mix ni mungkin dia could be blended. Okay, so you can see here, okay, mixed method here. Okay, for mixed method, you can see there can be concurrent. Oh, sorry. I snipping ni tak berapa, tak habis. Sequential. Sequential, we have 3 types. Maybe sequential exploratory, or sequential explanatory, or sequential multi-phase. Okay, you can see concurrent ni maknanya dia bergerak serentak. Okay, quantitative, qualitative ni in the same time. But if a sequential ni dia one by one. Okay, dia let's say for example here mungkin macam this one, let's say survey, you buat instrument, you distribute instrument to the target respondent. In the same time, the other research members also doing interview. Okay, dalam period yang sama. Okay, and mungkin dalam minggu yang sama. However, if a equality sequential, let's say you start with interview first. Okay, let's say you interview top management dulu. For example, you do some study, you get the view of top management. Then after you got some view of the top management, you distribute in 1 month or 2 months after that, you got some information. Then you develop the instrument from the information from the interview session to you develop like a survey. That one quantitative. Okay, this one terbalik lah. Okay, kalau let's say you interview, you buat survey dulu, you buat survey, you ambil dari bawah dulu. Okay, pergi interview, pergi buat survey dari pihak apa, staff golongan clerical, tengok bawah dulu, pergi apa, pandangan group bawah, and then baru you buat interview. As example. Ataupun you buat kalau multi-phase ni, you interview and then you buat a survey, you check dengan expert. Okay. Let's say sini you buat top management. Okay, you interview top management, get the big picture of view satu masalah dalam company tersebut. Okay, then you buat survey through the atau observation tu, you ada instrument dia, you tik kan, contoh you survey, you masuk survey and then you bagi questionnaire dekat dia ada mesyuarat agung ke apa kan, contoh lah kan, ada NGA ni, you bagi survey dalam event tu, and then you after that you dah analysis that all that stuff, you buat juga interview dengan expert. Okay, expert dalam hal tersebut. Okay, so expert maknanya katalah contoh tentang crowdfund. Last week I attend one proposal presentation from the Edinburgh. Lecturer ni dia nak buat pasal crowdfunding untuk zakat kan. So mungkin dia bertanya kepada pakar-pakar yang berkaitan crowdfunding untuk for that issue. Okay, itulah. So dia ada a few research design that we can adopt. Kita tak semesti buat semua. Alright, ini this all option. This is a classical. I think you all know better this one. We have control group, experimental group. Okay, so kalau tengok control ni dia lebih kepada nak compare lah kan. So dia tak ada dia no part this one lah. Intervention ni dia NIL lah, not available lah. Okay, So they have apa? Group, ada group, okay, control group, experimental, and then they have dependent variable measure, and then intervention for experimental group itself. So they have the time horizon, and as well as they will have another check the dependent variable measure again. Okay, so it's more classical experiment. Okay, this one ada satu topik details on this experimental design in chapter later on. Okay, this one is research, right? Jadi research ni macam nampak agak-agak macam nampak literature review punya proses, right? If you still remember last week, they have this one, let's say dia pusing-pusing balik, okay? Process cycle 1 on kita nak lihat pada observe on the issues. Okay, so what we have to do, we diagnose, we do some planning, we taking the action, then evaluate. Then go to cycle 2, we want to understand deeply, more further. Okay, again we the same process, and we do the acting on that knowledge, or you kick off lah, mana you akan collect data ke ataupun analysis, do the some action lah. Okay, understand ini mungkin you more observing, alright. Then this one mungkin you want to do some intervention, okay, to some improvement things, okay. Tu on research dia macam contoh apa benda-benda yang kita involve together with that respondent as well. Normally research ni it could be on IT, okay, macam kadang-kadang buat sistem kan, the researcher also involved with that team, and then how far goes on the system to make apa can improving ataupun solve the previous problem and so like that. Ini sebagai contoh lah. Okay. Itu from apa dia tadi? Sounders lah. Okay, this Sounders dia punya slide dia sebenarnya memang just speaker only. Okay, sebenarnya kalau originally dia memang I just switch to this to make it more refreshing to myself. So maybe wow nampak apa? Kalau tidak actually is the content still I'm not change any the content wise. Okay, next kita akan lihat what is theoretical framework and the hypothesis development from the resources from Sekaran. Okay, so at my hand now I have Sekaran book. Rumah Sekaran Roger Bukti. Tapi yang I share dalam online learning tu is Sounders. I couldn't find the Sekaran punya 6th edition. This one I'm sure which this one yang one 2012, this one is 2013. Tapi the point is quite similar. So the theoretical framework, what is a theoretical framework and hypothesis? I believe you all dah biasa dengar kata hypothesis, right? Hypothesis, H1, H0 and so on. Okay, so theoretical framework, kerangka teori, kerangka theoretical dalam bahasa Melayu. So what is theoretical framework? Dia lebih kepada foundation for deductive research project. So normally daripada general to specific. Okay, so deductive ni benda yang kita nak proven the things that we as a theoretical to the real one. Okay, so kita nak prove either is it can be accepted or not. What apa sangkaan kita? What is our hypothesis is can be accepted or not. Okay, so moving from the general, which are normally a theoretical teori apa-apa teori yang kita nak prove is it can be accepted or not. Okay, to be specific maknanya benda yang the real one lah, the real things that happen in our life. Okay, so normally you okay, as I said just now, so theoretical frameworks normally represent our beliefs or your beliefs on how certain phenomena, okay, so kita can represent through variables or concept, we are related to each other. Kalau kita buat model and explanation on why you believe that these variables are associated to each other. Okay, so how the correlation, okay, and so on. So based on the theory, salah teori yang yang bersesuaian, the appropriate story that we learn kan. Normally kita, that's why selalunya, if pernah dengar tak, selalunya pelajar universiti ni they need to intern because want to test what they learn in the university and what the real thing happen in the industry. Okay, sometimes can be applied, sometimes can be adapted or adopted, but sometimes it couldn't be. Alright, so same goes to research. Sometimes kita, what we learn in the book is sometimes cannot be practiced in the real life. Okay, so the basic one, you must know the how to identify or name the variable correctly. Then we formulate the hypothesis and how we want to explain how or why. Like qualitative, they will always how and why, what and why, what 5W 1H tu kan. So actually not really far different with for quantity or survey, but they are more on present through the hypothesis. Okay, so nampak macam senang lah madam. InsyaAllah senang. Okay, so how we want to state the relationship among the variables when we formulate the hypothesis. So when we talk about variable, we know that mainly we know dependent variable or independent variable. I pernah sebut kan, untuk tajuk proposal unity, make sure you know which one is dependent variable and which one is independent variable. Okay. Besides that, they do have also moderating variable or mediating variable. Tu. Ini macam booster lah, okay? Booster dengan yang penggalak tadi tu. Alright, so the booster, the pemangkin for independent and independent variable itself. Okay, so we understand that in the dependent, normally primary interest, the things that we macam the punya basic lah, the main thing lah. Okay, where is also means that the goal of the research is to understand or predict or explain the variability of this variable. Okay, meanwhile the independent is influence the dependent variable, either positive or negative approach. Okay, so the variance in the dependent variable normally accounted for by the independent variable. Variance pelbagaian lah, maksud dia punya level of the dependent variable itself. Okay, so ini example dia. Ni dalam buku ni tadi I look again. Actually this one maybe I will read for you. This example of this one is based on case lah. Example that in the industry lah. Okay, quite alright. So this one, there's as a IV is independent variable, availability of reference manual, and as well as the TV number of rejects. Okay, so I just read a few sentences here. There are the continuity with the mediating variable. Alright. So it has been found that there is relationship between the availability of reference manuals, okay, that manufacturing employees have access to and the product rejects. Okay, so that is when workers follow the procedures laid down in the manual, they are able to manufacture products that are flawless. Maknanya lebih jika staff tu or workers tu dia baca, dia memang apa, so the number of rejects tu mungkin decrease lah. Okay, so this relationship is illustrated. Okay, as you see here, although this relationship can be said to hold true generally for all workers, it is nevertheless contingent on the inclination or urge of the employees to look in the manual every time a new procedure is to be adopted. In other words, only those who have the interest. Okay, so interest and urge to refer to the manual every time a new process is adopted will produce flawless products. Okay, so you can see here. So interest and inclination ni, inclination mana orang yang tak berapa interest on reading the manuals tu. Okay, so this became as moderating. Okay, others who do not consult the manuals will not benefit and will continue to produce defective products. This influence of the attributes How the worker on the relationship between the independent and dependent can be illustrated as you see here. B itu mana continuity from here lah. Okay. So dalam buku ni dia on the same figure lah. I mean the same page lah. Okay. So this one could be considered moderators. Okay. Interest or incline. Mana kalau staff tu dia minat dengan read the manuals tu, can read the reference manual, so the lawless too can be decreased. However, if the staff or the workers quite inclined, they're not really interested with reading the manuals, dia mungkin tendency dia nak do the first defects tu can could be high, some sort like that lah. Okay, that's a moderating. So actually moderator ni can be qualitative or can be quantitative. Okay, the depend on that the relationship. Apa pula mediating? Mediating ni dia ada related dengan time the dependent itself. Okay, time the dependent variable start operating to influence the dependent variable and the time the impact is felt on it. This is another example about moderating variable. Okay, so let's say the prevalent theory said that the diversity of workforce, okay, like as you see here there, okay, as written from this book, okay, comprising people of different ethnic origins, races, nationalities, contributes more to organizational effectiveness. Because each group brings its own spatial expertise and skills to the workforce. Workplace. Yes, this synergy can be exploited. However, only if managers know how to harness. Maknanya managers, maknanya play a role lah. Okay, how only if managers know how to harness the special talents of the diverse group. Otherwise, they will remain untapped. Okay, so ni moderating, ni intervening dah ni. Mana moderating? Saya tertinggal. Oh, maybe dia not share about this. Mana kalau moderating dia as a managerial expertise. For the creative synergy ni, creative synergy ni dia ada dia punya, they do this one. Okay, another page. What I'm saying just now is more on managerial expertise still as same as what yang previous example just now. Okay, for this one more on. Okay, so yang tadi ni what I'm saying is more mediating for managerial expertise. However, if this creative synergy is intervening yang we see here. Alright, so comes actually result from multi-ethnic. Mana comes from independent ni juga. Okay, multi-ethnic, multiracial, multinational, interacting and bringing together with their multifaceted expertise in problem solving. Means that help us to understand, okay, from this one, creative synergy here, we see and we can, the researcher can know lah how the organizational effectiveness can result from having diversity in the workforce. Not that creative synergy here, so, tapi dia ada time based, dia ada depend on the time as well. So not that creative synergy, which is considered as a mediating variable here, surface at time T2, mana dia denote as T2 as a function of workforce diversity, which was in the place at time T1 to bring about organizational of effectiveness in time T3, macam rules mathematics juga. Okay, so means that here this mediating variable of creative synergy here, ini example help us to conceptualize and understand how the workforce diversity here, okay, brings about organizational effectiveness. Ni masa booster lah, okay, or the pemangkin. In the military we call as pemangkin for this organizational effectiveness. Okay, this dynamic of this relationship as we see here. Okay, so So I mean, it could be have moderating and mediating, or as well as intervening in the diagram. Okay, maknanya managerial expertise also play a role. Okay, ini yang ni tak ada pula. Ada dalam page 76 ni ada nampak. Alright, jadi this quite tak apa, don't worry kalau you rasa wah you anggap you are manager. Okay, kita belajar kelas, it's look like you are in a managerial class. Managerial yeah, because normally the graduates will biasanya akan start with management lah kan. I mean, start work with management officer and so on. However, it's tak semestinya lah. Okay, you ada some students they like. So this more is a kind of apa, mana kalau in as student also we also manage yourself. Okay, so all this one in the student life one, student diversity. Okay, the class effectiveness. Okay, so all this time, this just is example only. Okay, so that's I think that's all. Okay, so okay, before we end, we look what is a hypothesis, as I just mentioned just now. Proposition. Okay, then testable. It must be testable. So the empirical statement, they have concern with the relationship between variables or among variables. So the good hypothesis must be adequate for its purpose, must be testable, and must be better than its rivals. Can be directional or non-directional. So I think you all are quite familiar with develop this hypothesis development in some subjects before this. Applying back in this course for you when you are doing your research proposal soon. Okay, so however, they have some argumentation so that you can be aware on that. Sometimes the expected relationships or hypothesis can be integration of exploratory research or common sense and logical reasoning. So dia ada penakkulan mantik juga. Okay, some sort of mantik apa? You apply your math discrete and some sorts of that for your develop your hypothesis. Okay, so kalau dia ada apa, just add all lah, tak ada dah habis dah. So ini exercise you want, if you want to do this hypothesis, create apa, develop hypothesis based on this framework, either this one or this one. Okay, satu dia punya, kalau tengok sini sebenarnya dia ada, I think they have, kalau yang macam diamond ni moderating kalau yang macam ni intervening. Kalau yang macam empat segi, what we call this. Okay, so they have, so you can understand, or if dia macam diagram dia like diamond ni is more moderating, right? This one is intervening or mediating, alright? Jadi disebut dia ada skill lagi lah, the null and alternate hypothesis. Okay, so for example here, the null hypothesis in the respect group, women are more motivated than men. Just reading from this book. Okay, or so dia macam maths jugalah kan, dia punya H9 then dia buat mu m equal to mu w H0. So dia make it under macam mathematical statement sikit. Tapi I think you all sebut dah this one kan. Jadi tak apa, nanti you all akan practice this one for your research proposals soon. Okay, so I just add on the upper null, just refreshing what you already learned before this. A null is a hypothesis set up to be rejected in order to support an alternate hypothesis. We normally label as H alternative. Okay, so kita buat H null tu kan, yang H dan kosong. Ataupun alternate. The alternate hypothesis means is the opposite of the null, means that kita express relationship between two variables or indicate difference between the group. Okay, so Sebenarnya dia ada juga hypothesis testing with qualitative research, which mean negative case analysis. Okay, so maknanya kita boleh buat macam for example you have is extensive interviews, okay, and then dia ada you make it the theoretical framework, then you can have it the function of the dia ada dia punya dependent variables as well, and then the dependent variable cuma dia hypothesis dia just you can have a number lah, okay, right, so you can have a right or wrong, okay, soal lah, so dia more on nak proven the theory, more on proven the theory. Alright, so kemungkinan saya akan ambil soal daripada sini, I'm not sure yet, okay, daripada chapter ni ke chapter mana-mana yang kita dah go through. Alright, ataupun saya ambil soalan latihan ni untuk your exercise, untuk your quiz. Tengoklah macam mana. Okay, ini dia more on how you want to dia test understanding ni dia can be various. Okay, macam kita buat case study exercise few weeks ago, dia can have a multi answer, okay, as long as you understand the concept. Okay, ada soalan tak? Yes. Dalam buku sekarang ni dia punya research design dia, tapi ada banyak lagi ni, tapi lah ini agak details lah. Alright, the research design dia can be purpose of this, apa, ada banyak lagi dah, ada purpose of study, extent of research, tadi kita tengok research onion tadi tu kan, so kita lihat secara dulu, nanti kita akan tengok daripada dalam research proposals. Okay, so dia ada purpose of study, objective lah, okay, extent research, scope dia, okay, study setting dia, research strategy dia nak buat apa, measurement dia, okay, kita nak guna apa, scaling yang macam mana, ordinal ke nominal ke whatever, data collection method dia, you nak buat apa, questionnaire ke, interview ke, observation ke, horizon you, how cross-sectional, tadi itulah yang I explain, yang I introduce awal-awal tu. Sample design dia can be probability or non-probability, size, sample size and unit of analysis, can be individuals or DX. Pada DX siapa yang ingat? Groups, organization, the materials and so on. So all this stuff dia, the point dia, all this one, apa yang menentukan dia? Data analysis tu. Okay, view for data, goodness of data. The end tu, mana to before completing data analysis tu are very crucial. Okay, salah analysis also can be mislead the conclusion for that research. Okay, mana data analysis some sorts you pernah dengar, kadang-kadang data tu boleh test kan. Some sorts of some research they start dengan small data, then when they get some result yang robust, dia akan up lagi, okay, atau dia increase the sample size and so on. Okay, so sejenis ni ya, kalau ni sampai kelima itu habis, so dia cerita semua, dia introduce all the terms in the research design. Okay, I think that's all.